Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are among the most disliked presidential candidates in history. So it is hardly surprising that some are seeking an alternative.
Who's your vote for right now?
I really don't like either candidate, to be honest.
What's good, world? Jai Hudson from Beyond the Bottom Line, episode 3. We got Nicholas Wildstar here. He is Governor Wildstar. He is Cueball. He is an activist and political leader here for you today. Let's get it.
There ain't no difference between the two, no fun. Acting like you know they don't care what you want. They thirsty for power and means
thanks for coming to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a blessing to be here.
Yes, sir. When I first met Nick, I met him at an activist, what do you call that?
It was a protest against police brutality. Actually, a young man had lost his life, and the OC Sheriff's Department was responsible for that, and we were out there protesting against those actions that led to that man's death. So I believe you were there, part of the, I don't know how, but the Black Lives Matter, quote unquote.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so I met up with you. Everything clicked real quick. I understood that you also were in the music game. They call you Cueball, but he got dreads.
Easy.
So explain this name to me real quick.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, believe it or not, I used to be bald.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So for a long time in my life, I was bald. I used to rock it like that. And at an early age, my grandmother used to call me Cueball, and that name just stuck around in the hood, you know. But as an adult now, as a man, you know, growing out his inner strength and inner spirit, I have evolved as Cueball. So my name has evolved from, you know, being just a nickname to being something more than. And I actually related to Cueball in physics now. And
Cueball in physics, how does that fit? How does that work?
So a Cueball in physics, for all you science geeks out there, pretty much how a particle works is everything that's here in our reality and matter is made of particles. Break it down to a neutron and proton, you know, little thing like that. So it's quantum physics.
Right.
So a Cueball is exactly that, only it's more dense. So it's that to the billionth degree. So it's extremely compressed, and it's so dense that it could break through matter.
What is it that's compressed? A particle?
Yeah, it's the particle compressed to the billionth degree, to where again it's so strong that it could break through matter.
Alright, so your name evolved with you.
Yeah, exactly. So now as a more evolved being, I see myself breaking through reality, breaking through that matter, breaking through those barriers, breaking beyond the bottom line, you know?
It's beautiful. And your name has also evolved into Governor Wildstar.
Yes, indeed. I call myself the Governor Wildstar, because I govern myself. And if you look at the word govern, you know, when it comes to government, we give them power to have authority over us. So when it comes to you, yourself, your body, you know, you got to think about who governs you, who is in control of you, who is the boss of you, you know? And if it's you yourself, if you own yourself, then of course you govern yourself. So I call myself the Governor.
Right. Cueball to Governor Wildstar.
Yeah.
You got the music and you got the political activism. One person I could think of is Rhymefest. He definitely tried the lanes of political world in Chicago and the rapping world, writing. He wrote Jesus Walks.
Oh, word.
You know, he got a Grammy for that. How do you balance the two, political world and the music?
Well, I found myself transitioning from music to politics or activism more so because of what I wanted out of my music. You know, at an early age when I was creating my music, always in the long run, wanted to make change in the world. Right. You know, so once I saw that transition happening musically, it just fueled me to get more involved in my community and want to help them with their problems, because I was dealing with those problems myself, you know. So I pretty much just turned that microphone into a bullhorn, and it was out there,
I like that.
You know, hitting the streets, hitting the pavements, spreading that same message about change and unity and prosperity, and that's how that came about. So now I just see myself more so focusing that on my political aspects,
right,
and what I'm trying to achieve in life, which is why I'm running for office.
Perfect, man. So, under Cueball, you had a song on Scary Movie, I believe?
Yes. Yeah, I got a song on Scary Movie 4.
What's that called?
It's called What's This? Or, yeah, definitely. What's this? This shit. So if you could check out Scary Movie 4, check out the creds. You got Cueball, yours truly, in there. I also have my album, my first album that I independently put out on my own on Pandora, and that's called The Real. So
how do you spell your name?
Cueball.
All right. So when they look up on Pandora, they put that in?
Put in Cueball, The Real. THEREAL. Just as it sounds. Not phonetics, no, nothing like that. So, yeah, so when I moved out here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and back in '99 and been grinding music for the music scene, I started to face opposition with major labels that were interested in picking me up, and they pretty much just wanted me to change my sound, and I didn't want to do that and had to do my music on my own. So that first album I produced half with another producer of mine. We pretty much went half on production. I wrote all of my songs. I had it pressed up, distributed, all that stuff. Publicity, all that, all my own, and did so much pressing that I was able to get a little bit of exposure and made me feel greatly successful as an independent musician, because not too many indie artists even get that far to where they have their music in a #1 motion picture. At that time, right, you know, it was the #1 comedy in America. So I felt really grateful to even just have had that chance, you know, and I'm looking forward to having more opportunities like that with the music that I'm creating now. Mm-hmm. And because it's more politically motivated, and with the atmosphere taking on that type of a direction, right, that sort of a you know, acknowledgement with the masses, I really feel like they need some motivation.
Oh,
so
they do.
Yeah,
they need that motivation in many lanes, man.
In many ways, in more ways.
Inspiration. They need people to realize that, yeah, I got your back, and I do feel like you too. Because it's not only do we need to bring up the intellectual stimulation in this world, but we also got to realize that the people that do feel a certain way and want to do something with about the social climate, is right, that we're here for you.
Exactly, you know? Yeah. We are here for you. We the people are fighting together. Trust me. Right, we're all in this, and they need to know that. And it's sad because if you look at the media today, of course, they'd like to portray that it's so violent out there and we just hate each other and we just can't get along. And that's not true. You know it yourself. Just go out in your own neighborhoods and you'll see peace and love and unity all around you.
Yeah, I mean, man. And one thing I noticed is that if you stick to the digital world, to the networks and the internet and social networks, that you almost feel like giving up, because you constantly see the illusion of the world is falling apart, this world is falling down, because this news is bombarding you with fear-mongering.
It is.
But if you do get and connect with your friends and your family and get reminded of the love, man, don't lose sight on the love, because love is real and love is out there, man.
Right.
But speaking of what we're fighting for, what you're doing politically, admire, and I admire the courage specifically to do it, and the intellectual capacity to execute the process and the frustration that this is going to bring on you. Can you tell the people what you're up to?
Yeah, I'm running for governor of California, so it's very difficult because politics in itself is very engulfing. It takes over your life. It's overwhelming at moments and times, and it can be, especially with all of that information that you're talking about with social media. I have to pay attention to it in order to stay in the know and know where I need to apply that change that society is seeking. I have to deal with those problems, so it's kind of difficult for me at times to even find a balance, in fighting for that change and wanting to vacation with my wife and just, have a moment of rest. But I have to, because I have that energy inside of me, that desire to want to help those people in need, those people that are underprivileged, those people that are struggling, because I was that, I am that, and I really feel like our voice is getting lost in the wind, because all of the chatter and misleading that's going on right now in the world, it's diluting what our message is, and that's really for us to be free. That's what we all want, just to be free. And the majority of our problems in our lives are coming from that. I mean, look at what's going on in the NFL, the whole protest that they're having.
Oh man, what was the most recent one? What's his name, McNair? He called them the inmates.
Yeah.
They're running a prison, and of course, man, I don't know if you know any other African Americans, but I'm sure as long as they're outside, even if they're inside, man, to be considered an inmate, to be viewed an inmate, man,
and that's that on the job too.
Yeah.
This is your job.
Getting paid millions, man.
Yeah. And it related your employment to being a slave.
If they're being considered to be inmates while getting paid millions, and you're at your job getting paid hundreds and thousands, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, how does that person think of me too?
Right.
Am I really on the plantation with this? And sometimes it feels like that's happening. I feel like being Nat Turner and revolutionizing.
Yeah, exactly. And these are public figures, and they're out there in the media being seen by millions, and you got to understand what that's doing to the psyche of the people that are seeing this happen too. It's changing the way that we think, the way that we feel, and then we're going out in the world and we're applying it. It's a battle, because you can see people that are applying it and people doing their best to mute it, with the protests against people that are coming out expressing white supremacy and stuff like that. You have those protesters and the people that want to mute that message coming out to counter protest, because the message of love should be stronger than the message of hate. I went out on a protest yesterday at Cal State Fullerton.
All right. Who was speaking, Milo?
Yeah, Milo Yiannopoulos, public troll pretty much, and it's shock jock. That's all he is. It's like a glorified shock jock of today. Right. But it isn't like a Howard Stern shock jock. It's disgusting, vile, hateful type of messages that are being expressed.
Much like Donald Trump, much like Alex Jones.
Precisely, yeah. And it's sad, because you see a large group of people actually accepting this message. And again, these are people that are going out in the world and shaping our society, the very world that we all live in. They could be employers, they could be employees, they could very well be public servants, people that we rely on for help. But if they have that type of mentality where they see us as being less than or being inferior, then of course they aren't going to give helping us their all. So again, it's sad that we have people in politics that believe this, and they are people that create policy and laws that we live by. And it's sad, because if these are the people that we're giving authority to shape our society, all of our complaints, all of our hurts and pains that we may happen to deal with in our life, we can easily blame those people. But instead of looking at them as being replaceable, we see them as being untouchable, you know? And it's sad because all we got to do really is just unionize as people come together and vote. But when we do it, we gotta be solid behind a leader that actually values the qualities that we want in life, the qualities and values that we grew up on and this nation is built upon, like, you know, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, you know?
The pursuit of happiness part is like a whisper now.
Exactly.
Life and liberty, all right?
Right. And not so much now, so much liberty.
Yeah,
you know?
they replace the happiness with pills, and they like put you on this Xanax real quick.
Exactly.
You won't have to worry about happiness, man. You probably won't even remember the day.
Yeah, precisely, and that destroys people's lives, you know? So it's sad that we see this deterioration of our very society happening before our eyes and feel helpless. So somebody like me, like you, that steps up to the forefront to say, hey, we're here for you. We are fighting for that change on the forefront, you know, on the battle lines to make this change happen for us all. All we need for you to do is support us, believe in us, you know. And it's sad because being black, I definitely find that as being kind of like a you're gonna have to
another hurdle, but
for sure,
an obstacle.
Another obstacle, definitely, and something that we kind of battle with ourselves is accepting each other and promoting each other for actually wanting to do better in the world. You know, because I can't tell you how many people that I've met to be like, oh, you want to be like Obama? You're like,
they said that to you?
Yeah. And it's sad because I am somebody that wants change. I am somebody that needs people to believe in hope again. And I am somebody that can bring about that change were I to be elected, and since I'm running for office, and were I to achieve that, I would hope that those would be the same very people that would want to support me in achieving that, you know, and getting it accomplished, definitely. So I need my people just as much as I need all of the people, you know. So we got to start believing again. We got to start trusting in the voting process and knowing that if we again just get out there unified and apply ourselves and actually making this change happen, we can bring it about.
Right, man, and I definitely believe in your message. I believe that you could spark the other minds that want to take your path also. So your role in California right now, and for other people across this nation while they're watching you, is going to be major, because they will also feel motivated. And I believe you do need the platform from as many people as possible to get motivated towards running within what they believe in themselves. Because the other opposition will be the ones, the hate mongers will be there, and they're doing it, and they're doing it successfully, and they're getting their platforms. You know what I mean? Like, if Milo could get up in Cal State Fullerton,
who was sold out, by the way, arena of, I believe, like 800 seats, at like $35 a pop. So he made like a good 20 grand, something plus that night. And it's sad that, again, like you're saying, somebody like that has the attention of the masses to where if he were to run for office, he could possibly win, you know? Because people wouldn't believe, oh, I gotta go out and vote against somebody else that would be running for, you know, against somebody like that. And the people that that would support somebody like that would show up at the polls. Hence Donald Trump. You know, people didn't believe Hillary could do it or whatever. Just didn't believe in the Democratic Party or a third party. Yeah, exactly. A third party candidate like who I supported. So it's sad that we don't actually get behind the people that we believe could actually change the system. And then, of course, with the Republicans and Democrats, I see them as both being the same. So we need to shift away from that duopoly paradigm altogether, you know?
Yeah, I do. And if they represented what I thought they were supposed to represent, I would say, like, go ahead and stay with them. Well, majority of people, they don't want to see it. They don't want to see that it's possible to have a third party. And for me, already, it's frustrating. I'm not even running. I'm just trying to hope that people have the courage. But they usually write it off as a protest vote.
That's exactly what it is. If you want to get rid of the two-party system, then you must protest against that duopoly, against those controllers. If you see neither one of them being one that would support your beliefs or your ideas or could bring about that change that you hope politically, still vote, but protest with that vote. Empower your vote instead of thinking that you're wasting your vote or throwing it away, because you're still again applying those numbers, but where it counts. And for a third party candidate, that would again, somebody such as myself who is a libertarian would be able to shift the political system from one to where it's steadily promoting control and loss of liberties, loss of freedoms, war, financial loss, you know, monopoly gain, something like that. It would change it dramatically, and people would want to never do that again. You know, they would want to get away and create a new America.
What do you have to say about to the people that when they hear libertarian, they think of many different types of libertarian because it's still an idea. And they ask, are you a less government type of libertarian, and then get turned off about it?
Oh no, libertarianism at its core, or the Libertarian Party, is all about less government. The less government that we have, the more freedoms that we have. So more freedom, less government. That is exactly what the Libertarian Party is all about. So it's crazy because when we think of a libertarian, we still think of it as being a philosophy when really it's the third largest party in the country. So it has the opportunity of overtaking the other two parties. All it needs is its supporters, people to get behind candidates that are running for office. So the party itself is built around liberty, freedom. The word libertarian or liberty or whatever, its root word is liber, which means freedom. Tarian is the part that makes it active. You can apply that to humanitarian or being a vegetarian. You know, you're just a person that advocates for whatever that is. So being a libertarian, you're someone that's out there fighting for freedom, and that is exactly what I am. So I ran for governor of California in 2014 as an independent, and it was exactly that, an independent effort. It felt like I was alone, and as much as I felt like the mass of people were independently minded, they were still stuck in the two-party, you know, red or blue type of mindset. And that made me feel frustrated as somebody that wanted to get involved with politics and bring about that change. So I just steadily saw myself growing and changing, and became more influenced by the Libertarian Party, by the likes of Dr. Ron Paul, who ran for president in 2012 as a Republican, but previously ran as a Libertarian and was always liberty-minded. So he inspired me to look more into the party, and when I ran, or this time that I'm running, I'm now using that platform again to establish those values.
When someone is, when they hear libertarian and they're on welfare, and they want hope within you, if I'm gonna vote for you, isn't this gonna be taken away?
Well, not at all. There's people in our society that want to help each other, which is why systems like welfare exist. The way that it kind of gets taken advantage of is government itself. The misappropriation of funds that they actually waste in taxpayer dollars is insurmountable with regards to it in comparison.
Alright, well, apparently the camera got cut off. If you guys have questions, leave it in the comment box. I'd be glad to ask them and get their answers from a libertarian. It was November 1st, so it was the day after Halloween. I gave him the choice of answering what he was scared of or answering what he is thankful for. He chose to answer the question of what he's thankful for, and he went with unconditional love. So here's the part of the answer that I did catch.
Take two.
You're speaking about your wife?
And,
showing you unconditional love?
Yeah, so my wife was the person that gave me that seed of unconditional love, and within her it grew and it developed me into the man that I am now here today, to where I then opened up my eyes to what my life purpose was, and that was to show that unconditional love to the rest of the world. What I wanted to do through music, I could still do through politics, I could still do through my every fabric of my being, because that's what we're here on this planet for, is to help one another. Whether we like it or not, if you have a job and you're doing that job, you're helping somebody. You know, whether it's answering phones, mowing a lawn, cleaning a toilet, you know, building a fence, whatever you're doing, running for office and being a politician, serving the public, being a policeman, being a fireman, being, you know, a lawyer. So you're helping people. You're supposed to be helping people. And if our society, ethically, morally, is built on the good of humanity and who we are as spiritual beings, then it's imperative that we start acting on that notion.
Right, man, because we all built to play our roles, man. It's a beautiful thing once we all get together and build some kind of harmony without the ego between it.
Right.
So, you know, when I say of royalty, I believe that we all are our own version of a king and queen, which we aren't all kings and queens. I understand that, because some of us are assholes.
Right. That is true.
Without the ego involved, you become a different type of king or queen.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you see your little princess and prince, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to be a ruler or anything, but to be one that cares about your fellow neighbor, about your fellow man, about your fellow sister, you know what I mean? So I hope we come to the day where more people look within their community and build their community in the way that sees that their job alone does help out someone else. I think that's a beautiful perspective.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, man.
It'll definitely help shape the world into a better world. It doesn't have to be a perfect world, but we can attempt to make it better. We can attempt to perfect our ways, you know, and perfect our love for one another.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. That's what it's going to take, and especially if we want to treat each other like royalty, because we are sovereign beings, and being who we are, just being on this planet, God gave you a gift. Our Creator has blessed you with the very breath of life that makes up everything in this world, in this universe. So you are living a human experience, but you are more than. And that more than is something that connects us all.
Yeah, man, it's a miracle that we all exist together right now. We must have it for a reason.
Right.
You know, we get together and we can do it, man. So this is Beyond the Bottom Line.
Beyond the bottom line. We went way beyond today.
Yeah. After this show, people are sure going to be interested with you.
Right.
Where can they find you at?
Oh, please visit my website, wildstar2018.com. That's wildstar2018.com. So that's WILDSTAR2018.com. I know I have to do that too. So yeah, please visit my website. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, and of course if you visit my website, then all of those links will be there for you. But I just ask that people please just look more into me and my campaign, look more into libertarianism, because that truly is the root of who we are as Americans, who we are as people. And if we could create a world where our lives and our children's lives would be better, it would have to start with a new change and something different happening. And that something different needs to be us thinking different, us voting different, us living different, you know, loving differently.
If you want to get healthy, you eat different.
Exactly. What is it? Einstein defined insanity as somebody doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. It's never going to happen. So quit voting for a Republican. Quit voting for a Democrat. Just vote for somebody else. It doesn't matter. And I'm a libertarian. I would love your vote, so please vote for me. If you live in California, please definitely.
Wildstar Libertarian candidate running for governor.
3.
3. And then guess what? That's 1, right? 11-1.
Oh Lord, you know what? The last one we had ended at 11-11. Like, the exact time was 11-11. So, and the last person I had on was Christopher Borsma. And he explained, like, I just thought it was good luck to see 11-11. What does 11-11 mean to you?
It's some angel numbers. You gotta look
That's
them up.
what he said, man. So I mean, this show is blessed, man.
Yes, exactly.
You are blessed because you caught it too.
Definitely. It was a blessing to be here, my brother. Thank you so much.
Blessing.
God bless you.
So, man.
And God bless all of you.